unexpected and other stuff to do before I can make it here to the studio. But nevertheless, I'm here today, and we are on Facebook Live. Not Facebook Live. We are on YouTube, and now we're about to be on Facebook Live. About to share the Facebook Live post right now. You can do the same thing by going to facebook.com, checking it out, and doing all that good stuff. 12 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour this morning on WNCR-TV. Now, let me go to Facebook, get on the right page, my page here, and there we go. And click share, say happy Monday morning. Well, there we go. And there we go. Okay. So there we go. We got that shared this morning. What's happening locally, of course, you can call in, talk about that, 252-407-8432. That's 252-407-8432 is the number to call to participate in today's conversation as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Today is the first Monday of the month. That means this morning at 9 a.m., there will be a Nash County's Commissioners meeting. Let me look and see what's on the Nash County's agenda for today. Ms. Dean, Angela Dean, right here. Okay. And you do it from my phone. And so then, as we do that, we'll talk about some other things. But today's agenda for Nash County looks like it's about 61 pages of all the context. There's probably not a lengthy meeting today. It's going to be the call, the order, the invocation, the pledge of allegiance, the approval of minutes, public comment, introduce Miss Nikki Staten as Nash County Board of Commissioners, to Nash County Board of Commissioners, rather. A public hearing on the UDO text amendment requests, A2103101, minimum area of events and conference venues. Also, resolution in addition to the state mandated secondary road system, Castleberry Section 2 subdivision, resolution supporting the NCDOT statewide project funds for new left turn lane on East NC 97 at London Church Road. Oh, that's kind of by Wilson. Approval of franchise agreement. I think it's kind of by Wilson. Approval of the franchise agreement with Midwest Medical Transport, DBA North State Medical Transport. Resolution supporting the National Public Safety Telecommunication Week. Westmount Fire Department purchased new apparatus. Establish a date for the Board of Equalization review. Monthly tax report, tax refund request. There's a 2024 CDBG-NR grant. There is also North Carolina Agriculture Development Farmland Preservation Trust local match, Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, the State Director Grant for Central Nash Water System Enhancements, the State Director Grants for Nashville Manhole Sealing Project, State Director Grants for Northern Nash Water Hose Project, or System, should I say, State Director Grants for Smart Meters and Meter Management System, Budget Amendments, Board Appointments, Commissioner Comments, Manager Report, Closed Session, recess meeting until Monday, April 14th at 2 p.m. for the Board of Equalization review training at the Commissioner's Room on the third floor. And last item is the tour of the new parks facility, and that's going to be in Nashville at 981 Old White Oak Road in Nashville, North Carolina. So that's all happening today at the Nash County Board of Commissioners meeting. And let's see what's number item. Let's see. Okay, so I'm pleased to introduce to the board Ms. Nikki Staten, who currently serves as the finance director for Warren County, North Carolina. Ms. Staten's first day for Nash County will be next Monday, April 14th. She holds a bachelor's degree in accounting, master's in finance, a doctorate in wow. So yeah, that's just like that. I wonder how long they had a vacancy in their finance department, able to do that relatively quickly. Good for them. Let's see here. The other piece is going to be the Nash County Development Ordinance, which is Article 6, Development Standards for Individual Use. And this is going to be 1-4.28B, and it's event and conference venue. I was going to say that the minimum area said an event or conference venue shall be located on a property with a lot of at least 10 acres. For the purpose of this section, the property used for an event and conference may consist of multiple adjacent continuous parcels in the same ownership that may be separated by a road right away, should I say, provided the areas used for the event and conference venue shall not be further subdivided to include less than a total of 10 acres. And so that's going to be an opportunity for Nash County to authorize an event space and conference facility there in Nash County. So the recommended action, the Nash County Planning Board, the Nash County Planning Board considers the UDO text amendment request on March 17, 2025. No members of the public addressed the board with regard to this request at the time. It says Robert Bartley with Bartley Engineering and Surveying addressed the board on behalf of the applicant to support the request. The planning board voted unanimously to recommend the approval of the request. Suggested motion, I move that Nash County Commissioners adopt the statement planning consistently below to approve or deny. Choose one. Like I said, we ain't making a decision for you. So, okay. Statement of planning consistent UDO text is neither consistent or non-consistent with the recommendation of Nash County Comprehensive Land Use Plans because the plan does not specifically address the appropriate minimum area requirements for development in event space. So again, they have it up to what the Board of Commissioners will do as it relates to that type of space being used in Nash County. One thing that caught me over the weekend, or I think it was the weekend it was posted, and that was on Fighting Crime page. There was a article or a story that was posted in regards to the Travel Tourism Authority. We might have talked about this before on the air. I'm almost thinking that we did. But maybe not. If we did, we talked about it a long time ago. Maybe we talked about it recently because there's been a couple of new developments with it. No, I think I did talk about it. I read it. I read it the other a couple weeks ago, or something like that. So let me see if I can find this. I don't know when it was. Oh, here it is. So it says, this is what it say. Representative Chester, well, this is the topic over here. It says Representative Chester calls out Robbie Davis on giving misinformation to Tourism Development Authority. This is April 4th, 2025. And it says, Dear members of the Nash County Tourism Development Authority, I'm writing to address a concern regarding a resolution you adopted on Wednesday, April the 2nd, 2025, opposing North Carolina House Bill 332, which I co-sponsored alongside Shelley Willingham. As your representative in the North Carolina General Assembly, I feel compelled to correct the record and apologize to you for misinformation presented by your chairman, Robbie Davis, which led to this resolution. This situation reflects either gross incompetence or deliberate malice, and in either case, you deserve clarity and transparency. On March 14, 2025, I discussed the issue with Senator Lisa Barnes, Nash County, Chairman Wayne Outlaw, the Vice Chair Sue Leggett, where we all agreed all funds remanded to Rocky Mount by Nash County TDA through the 2% accommodation tax will continue to be spent in Nash County. This commitment was not a suggestion. It was firm understanding among the state and county leadership to reflect this agreement, update the language for House Bill 332, was drafted and provided to Nash County, including the TDA Chairman Robbie Davis on Monday, March 31st, 2025. This revised language explicitly preserves the requirement that these funds benefit Nash County tourism, contrary to the claims made in the resolution you adopted. Despite having access to this updated information, TDA Chairman Robbie Davis presented a resolution on April the 2nd asserting that House Bill 332 would allow tax dollars collected in Nash County to be spent for the benefit of other counties. This premise was outdated and inaccurate at the time of your meeting. The resolution's opening paragraph states, it is contrary to the original intended purpose and the occupancy tax, and the final paragraph urged opposition to House Bill 332 to maintain the requirements that funds benefit Nash County. Yet the bill's updated language available to Mr. Davis 2 days prior already ensured that those requirements remained intact. I regret that you, dedicated members of the TDA, were misled in adopting a resolution based on information your chairman should have known was no longer valid. Whether this was a failure to review the updated legislation or a willful choice to misrepresent it, the results is the same. Your decision was made without the full, accurate facts. For that, I am sincerely sorry. You deserve better leadership and accountability from those you entrusted to guide your work. House Bill 332 simply seeks to streamline the process for Rocky Mount to use these tourism funds efficiently while keeping them in Nash County as agreed upon the state and county leaders. I remain committed to supporting tourism development that benefits our community, and I am happy to provide both the March 14th agreement and the March 31st update bill language to any TDA member who wishes to review them. My door is open to discuss the future and ensure your efforts are supported with accurate information moving forward. Thank you for all you do for Nash County, and I hope the chairman's missteps doesn't shake your belief in the legislative process or our common vision for tourism development. Sincerely, Alan Chesser, NC House District 25. Now, let's see. House Bill 332, 2025, 2026. I ain't even typing, ain't that crazy? 2025, 2026. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, showing. Perfect. Nope, this is the wrong session. Oh, I did the wrong one. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So, this is House Bill 332. This is House Bill 332. And so you see the sponsors, Chesser and Willingham, on this particular bill. This bill was filed, and you have Edition 1. It passed the first reading on March the 10th, and it was referred to Finance. If favored, it goes to Rules, and then the House of Operations. And so the draft bill, and I understand all bills are in draft form, should I say, because they will, they may make some amendments to the bill, understood, or the bill could go totally not drafted, and it is that. This bill is entitled a local bill. So generally, based on the normal rules of the House and the normal rules of the General Assembly, when there is a local bill, those bills, as long as there is unanimous consent between local elected officials, generally those bills are supposed to go on through. Sometimes even with dissension, they can go on through, but either way, that's that. What I do want to point out, though, in this particular item or bill in this draft form, and if you look at C, is this just one section? Yeah, section 1, paragraph C, and it says distribution of the use of sales tax revenue. Nash County shall, on a quarterly basis, remit the net proceeds of occupancy tax levied upon subsection A of this section to Nash County Tourism Development Authority. The net proceeds of the occupancy tax levied under this subsection A1 of this section to the city of Rocky Mount. The authority shall spend at least 2/3 of the funds remitted to it only to promote tourism in Nash County, and shall spend the remainder on tourism-related expenditures. The city of Rocky Mount shall spend the funds remitted to it only for tourism-related. Tourism-related expenditures in the city of Rocky Mount. So there it is. So as you see there, they crossed out where it originally read for tourism-related expenditures within Nash County that have been specifically approved in advance by Nash County Tourism Development Authority. So a very simple action. Now let's look at this bill. This is pretty much the law as it stands right now. You see no other markups, right? And so what this bill essentially does is it takes away one that the Nash County Tourism Development Authority would have had to approve how Rocky Mount would spend the money. It also took away that the tourism related expenditures would directly or exclusively have to be in the city of Rocky Mount. The way it's written currently, that Rocky Mount would have the authority to spend them within the city of Rocky Mount, which includes both Nash and Edgecombe County, which then, to that point, would be why a Shelley Willingham would have signed on to the bill as a sponsor, because obviously it's a bill that has potential benefit to Edgecombe County, and he represents Edgecombe County in the House. Now, what I thought was quite interesting on social media over the weekend was there was a lot of conversation about Robbie Davis tactics and what he's doing and this, that, and the third. And I get it. There are folks you don't like. And so it is what it is. So what folks rather do is talk about a Robbie Davis shady business practice or elected practice that he did not share information or da 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 da. Well, anybody can say what they may or may not do, right? But until it's filed in the office. Now, again, the meeting was on April the 2nd or 1st, or whenever the meeting was. And based on the documentation that was produced online, they meaning Alan Chester, Representative Chester, had a meeting with local leadership, which was, again, I'm going to reread this. It said, on March 14th, I discussed the issue with Lisa Barnes, Nash County Chairman Wayne Outlaw, and Vice Chair Sue Leggett. We agreed that all funds remanded to Rocky Mount by Nash County TDA through a 2% accommodation tax would continue to be spent within Nash County. This commitment was not a suggestion. It was a firm understanding among state and county leadership. Now, again, I don't know when the Finance Committee meets, or have they met, have they talked this bill or not. And if they haven't, then I get it why the bill hasn't been changed. But if you had a conversation about this on March the 14th and their meeting was on April the 2nd, if they're actually working in a General Assembly or some kind of way, it seems like to me I would have had that bill modified before such a time. But again, I don't operate in the House. Perhaps the Finance Committee hadn't met, and so therefore they weren't able to update the language. But if I'm looking at what you say you're going to do, and 2 weeks later, it still ain't seen a modification, because I've seen bills change overnight, literally. Okay. So I would say that. But again, the piece that is quite striking to me, but first let me share with you a response that Commissioner Davis, Robbie Davis, shared as well. So it says, this was on April the 5th, 2025. It says, dear members of the Nash County Tourism Development Authority, first, let me thank you again for your attendance at our special call meeting this past Wednesday to approve the funding for the city of Rocky Mount per the statute we work under. Next, I would like to apologize for the letter you received from the office of our North Carolina representative, and more so far as the tone of the letter. I know as a member of this board, you are not accustomed to this. I choose to leave it at that and operate that with facts only. I also know that for the 11 members that were present at the meeting, you realize the content of the letter from the representative office are not the facts that transpired at that meeting. Though not mentioned, we did approve the request for the city of Rocky Mount for the $2 million to perform roof and window replacements at the Imperial Center in downtown Rocky Mount. These funds came from reserve that were being held in the account for Rocky Mount until they came up with an approved use for the funds. This has been done with the approval of the city of Rocky Mount. The other item of business that day, we voted on the resolution taking a stance against House Bill 332. This passed with all 11 members present voting for the resolution. This bill was written and filed would allow Nash County TDA to fund funds to be spent outside of Nash County. The bill as filed would also take over our, I guess, side of how the funds would be spent away from Nash TDA. The board did not agree to either of these changes. It was also discussed that there was a proposed committee substitute for House Bill 332 that has been sent to the chairman the day before our meeting on Wednesday. A copy of this proposed committee substitute was supplied to each member and the press, which was labeled Exhibit F. It was explained and discussed in detail that this possible change would be added back to part of the original bill from 1991 that would not allow the funds to be spent outside of Nash County. This was a good change if it were to happen, but still would remove the part that the original bill stated that it would have to be specifically approved in advance by Nash County Tourism Development Authority and would give us no oversight over how the funds, once given out, would still require our board to report to Nash County Commission on how the money was spent each quarter and annually. The facts do matter, and in this case, the letter we received ignored the facts for this, and I apologize should you have any questions or concerns about a meeting column. So the commitment is that Robbie Davis did, in fact, share the proposed committee substitute, but saying, hey, they still disagree that the TDA should still tell Rocky Mount or approve how Rocky Mount should spend the funds. But they were fine with the idea that the funds would stay within Nash County. I personally have some issue or concern with that, and that is anybody who's been living in our community, we all know that since the creation of the event center in downtown Rocky Mount, there has been growth in hotelers in our city. There's no doubt about it. They talked about, and not only since then, also some of the growth was spurred because of Rocky Mount's investment in the sports complex. So you have this amateur travel tourism sports that's going on. So you've got a sports complex. And then you also then had the Rocky Mount Event Center that kind of now you took multiple seasons where there was maybe, the summer months of hotel stays and shopping and people exploring Rocky Mount to now you're having, even basketball, volleyball tournaments and this, that, and the third and everything else that it did, the concerts and things that Event Center housed, that has now caused additional overnight stays in hotels. And that is a direct result because of the planning and the commitment that Rocky Mount is making to the entire city and not just one county in a city. There are those folks who live in both Nash and Edgecombe County who believe in county government when it comes to Rocky Mount, that it should be this county versus that county. Rocky Mount can't afford that. Rocky Mount it should be what's better and good for the entirety of the city. And so if I was Rocky Mount, I would be drafting up a resolution in support of the bill as originally written because it affords Rocky Mount the opportunity and gives it the autonomy to decide where can we best park dollars generated by the occupancy tax that is mainly generated because we're making investment in Rocky Mount. Because these 4 or 5 or whatever hotels and came in line since the event center is I believe, a direct result of the actions of the investment of the Rocky Mount Event Center. And so tourism in Edgecombe County and Rocky Mount, tourism in Nash County side of Rocky Mount is good for both Nash and Edgecombe, and most importantly, the city of Rocky Mount. Why do we still continue to have these dumb fights over a divisive type message and then talk about unity on the other end of the stick? The original bill that was signed or sponsored by, primary sponsor Chesser and co-sponsor Shelley Willingham, I believe was a great bill. A bill that recognizes that Edgecombe County contributed or helps contribute to the increased calls of occupancy tax being collected at the hotels that exist within Nash County. This is just my personal thought about it. And so that therefore, because those dollars were generated within inside of the city limits of Rocky Mount, the city, should have, with very limited restrictions as to where within the city locale it spends it, as long as it's related to tourism. Why should it be related to tourism? Because you want those dollars to further generate additional occupancy tax. So I get it. You shouldn't take tourism dollars and help fund a utility situation. You shouldn't take tourism dollars and help fund something else. It should be directly related to a tourism related event, because the goal is we want to drive additional hotels being built, more attractions being developed in our community, more places of interest. So therefore, a lot of cities and towns across this country grow because of tourism. So we get it. But the hang up, obviously, that the TDA board, all 11 members, whoever they are, we can see who they are from online somewhere, but whoever they are, agree that the dollars generated in Rocky Mount, and it's 2%. Now, this is what I call perhaps greed. You've got 5% of occupancy tax being charged to patrons who come and stay in our hotels in Rocky Mount. Nash County itself gets 3% with no restrictions on where they want to spend it. And then they want to cry about an additional 2% that is exclusively in Rocky Mount, where Rocky Mountains get 2% of the sales tax dollars. That I understand it. I'm not going to say I don't understand it, because I think I've been around here long enough to know the undercurrent has always flowed through our community that one day I hope we'll weather that storm and it'll flow like milk and honey. But until such time, I really don't care about your dislike for people, whether you dislike Robbie, whether you dislike Alan or whomever. I would hope people, and I make comments on Fighting Crime page about it, because just stick to the facts. The fact is that you've got dollars being generated by the investment made by the city of Rocky Mount to invest in an event center that many people didn't want, because now you have families coming into our community who are staying there, and this investment is in Edgecombe County side of Rocky Mount. So the deal is, if Rocky Mount was to look at how to further expand tourism in that area, they said, well, we can do everything up to the event center. Then some may say, well, Edgecombe County goes to hotels, and if you have that opinion that Rocky Mount should have some hotels in Edgecombe County, I would raise my hand and say I agree with you 100%, based on the fact that if we're going to continue to have conversations and the withholding of the ability for Rocky Mount to have his own identity based on I even want to say it, somewhat of a planning. I'm saying somewhat of planning that Rocky Mount has, and something I think just happens by happenstance, but that they have, that has increased the opportunity for newfound dollars to come into our community. They should have the entitlement. But again, what happened a few years ago when it came to demerger? They said, school board members, your local board, we're going to take away your ability to redistrict yourself. We're going and now there's conversation. I guess maybe Nash County commissioners may not be able to withdraw their districts. They got a concern about District 1, and I'll take away the ability for them to redistrict. And when you start doing that, you're taking away the most local level of flexibility that elected officials have to help make their area of jurisdiction more, I don't know, unique, I guess would be a great word, more competitive. When you have this autonomy, it allows the flexibility to think outside the box. So when you have this fixed, rigid design, it needs to look like this, smell like this, sound like this, feel like this, everything sounds the same. So then people start saying, well, why do I need to go to Raleigh? Why do I need to go to Durham? Why do I need to go here? Because everybody has the same thing. But I had people yesterday come down to Pop's Diner from Zebulon, North Carolina, because I saw it on Facebook and wanted to try some soul food and all this kind of stuff. And so it's about those different things that people are willing to make investment to our community And again, you need the most flexibility to do that. And a restrictive bill that's saying that, yeah, Rocky Mount, you're doing a great job by having new hotels come online, but because of that, we want you to keep that money in Nash County and withhold it from ever stepping foot across the county line because those dollars were generated in Nash County. And if I was Rocky Mount, going back to what I said, was about to say, the city of Rocky Mount should then, with all deliberate speed, the next time a hoteler wants to come into the city limits of Rocky Mount and they look at a Nash County site, they should, with all deliberate speed and all full force of local government, to redirect them to apply to land in Edgecombe County, incentivize them for developing a hotel there so that occupancy tax is then being generated in Edgecombe County to further the growth and development of Edgecombe. Otherwise, we're going to continue to have a deterrent or a struggle doing what needs to be done for the betterment of the entirety of the city and not just one facet or part of the city. Rocky Mount is one city. And I get sick and tired of these laws and thought conversations continue to come up year after year about why one county can't do one thing for another, why you can't work together. I'm like the other, can't we all just get along? And again, that's just my take. Obviously, there are other folks who is fine with that. And I hope there's a day that comes that people will go beyond a railroad track and really appreciate and value the city as a whole in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now, again, I get it. There's going to be some great need and major development investment that needs to happen in some areas of Rocky Mount that's been neglected and basically dollars directed from it. So when people start saying you got dollars directed from the area, yeah, here it is. You've got a generating, producing asset in Edgecombe County, just a few steps away from Nash County. Nash County, who's reaping the benefit from an Edgecombe County project, or City Rocky Mount project that happens to sit in Edgecombe County. And yet they say because we reap this opportunity to have an increase in the occupancy tax rate, we're going to say, forget where it's coming from. You keep these dollars here. In fact, there's no reason whatsoever that there should have been $2 million sitting in that Travel and Tourism Authority bank account for the city of Rocky Mount if they were dispersing those funds quarterly as they're receiving them or annually at the latest rate. I wonder when is the last time or how often does Rocky Mountain get dollars from the tourism and travel for them to have $2 million sitting there, or how much ever may be sent. I don't even know if that's the total amount. That may be the amount Rocky Mount requested. I wonder what is the total amount of dollars of the 2% has been collected for the city of Rocky Mount that for years Rocky Mount did not get, have not had access to it because of whatever projects didn't meet the approval of the TDA. My thought process is, again, I'm a person of one. There are many people who come up with whatever. But when the law says you're collecting 2% of the occupancy tax for the city of Rocky Mount's benefit, then as this new bill was going to do is a direct pass over. There's no, let me see what you plan on doing with the money. Because Rocky Mount don't ask you what you're doing with the other 3%. That you don't go to Rocky Mount and approve what's going with 3% of dollars in Nash County. What you going to do with that 3%? Right? Is it staying within, is all the occupancy taxes generated from the hotels in Rocky Mount, which pretty much are a lion's share of Nash County's occupancy tax collection, are those dollars staying directly in Rocky Mount? I can assure you they're probably not. They're probably not. And so that is the real question, not personality conflicts. Forget who's there. I don't care if it was John Smith and Jackie Kennedy, right? That's arguing over the point. We got to stick to why in the world was there $2 million sitting in a pot of money that Rocky Mount was a direct result in helping to generate those dollars, but those dollars was held from Rocky Mount for whatever reason. Well, I know because obviously the tourism board didn't approve it. Then the other line question may be if they supported the Down East Viking Classic that brought tourism and hotel stays, what kind of dollars was generated from that? Because I know there was some issue about monies there that needed some more money and this, that, and the third. How did the Nash County Tourism help that? Because surely they create hotel overnight stays as well during the time, depends on what game they have, when they come into the area. So there are a lot of things that Rocky Mount helps generate, but yet get this short of the stick and then get talked about and ostracized. Meanwhile, you got others saying, we ain't give you the money that you helped generate. That's my soapbox for today. Let me see here who's online here this morning. And that is Gwendolyn Swain, Betty Jenkins, Deborah Gunter, Irma Maxwell, Lucy Boyer, John Jordan, James Bullock, Andre Smiley, Mr. Johnson, Reginald Manning, Vernice Harris, Barbara Smith, Jacqueline Randolph, Fighting Crime, good morning to you. Allison Williams, Stanley Richardson as well. Thank you all for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. But here's the latest saga that's dealing with Rocky Mount and I will say over the years, the unfair treatment that it receives from North Carolina General Assembly. It has received unfavorable treatment for years, and it is just a testament to the resiliency of the people in our community, to the local elected leadership that's within our city, that has been able to embody and or battle some of these things that were thrown against the city, but still yet they have been able to rise. I just don't get it. You know, and I remember a year ago when they were talking about the $8 million for the judicial center and affordable housing. And it was said, hey, this piece of the money is exclusively for Edgecombe County. Housing can't be built for Edgecombe County. I went and read the law and looked at it and I said, no, the way this thing seems to be written is for the city chooses how they're going to spend the money. I talked to a representative and others, and we came to the same conclusion that yeah, it's for the entire city. That's what the intent of the law was. In fact, said, look, I would never vote on something that would either benefit Edgecombe County more than it benefits Nash, or that benefits Nash more than it benefits Edgecombe County. I wouldn't do that. That's just not what it's about, right? And here it is. We have an elected body today that has an opportunity to right wrongs. And instead of righting wrongs, they will choose to further double down on, I think, damaging effects to our city. I believe that folks within our city government, from the elected officials that we vote into office, from the staff that is working there, from the various trainings that they receive to further their strength, I believe that we're very capable of handling a little tourism dollars. Okay. When you think about what they do when it comes to the Imperial Center, what they did prior to that, right? And so, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I hope that background will change, that they'll say, you know what, we're going to keep the local bill in place. And I get you people and local leadership got heartburn about it. I get that the TDA has heartburn about dollars being spent in Nash County or Edgecombe County or whatever. But I need you to get over it. I need you to realize that, because as long as you feed into that spirit or that idea that Rocky Mount is still two counties fighting against each other, Rocky Mount is one daggone city. And we need to stop supporting and holding up the idea that it's Nash versus Edgecombe County when it comes to the city of Rocky Mount. And we need elected leadership at the state level, need elected leadership at the local level to believe and understand and value that. And if we don't have those type of people, send their tails back home. That's just, for me, that's just what it is. Send them back home, because we ought to be tired and sick and tired of divisive language that comes out of our state, that comes out of local jurisdictions or wherever it is. when in the world will we start being fair in legislation, start being fair in policies? And here it is during a time where we talk about this get rid of DEI. This is almost what people are saying when it comes to Rocky Mount. Every type of legislation that comes, where's the good piece of legislation that come and say, hey, we're going to help Rocky Mount because we know they're divided between the track and the heartbeat of the downtown is here. And so therefore we know they've been trying to deal with a pedestrian bridge to continue that tourism. So we're going to help them build a daggone bridge. Where is that at? Rocky Mount's been trying to relive its downtown, revive it. So we're going to figure out a way to help Rocky Mount further grow. Infrastructure here, all these things that we can be talking about. Furthermore, we want to talk about some old mess. That's what I call it because I'm on TV right now. Okay. Some old divisive mess. And so whatever stuff that Alan Chester, Representative Chester, and Senator Lisa Barnes and Wayne Outlaw and Sue Leggett came up with about this divisive mess about keeping stuff in there. And I get it. You're voted in for Nash County. I get that's a stance you're supposed to take. But at some point, I would wish y'all would open up y'all eyes and say, listen, we can't change the fact that Rocky Mount is between two counties. And so for the betterment of Nash County, for the betterment of North Carolina, let's stop barking about this dumb stuff and let's advance tourism, because at the end of the day, when a tourist comes to Edgecombe County and there ain't no hotel in Edgecombe County, guess where they're going to stay? In Nash County. When a tourist want to eat some food in Rocky Mount and they happen to be in Edgecombe County, unless they're going deeper in east side of Rocky Mount, they're going to eat in Nash County. So it's all this symbiotic relationship that's been existing in our community for years exists. We understand it. Let's work towards repairing broken bridges. And in fact, we can do that by helping Rocky Mount build a daggone bridge and start talking about unity within our community versus this conversation we're having right now. There's too much going on in our country and in our city than to be dealing with this foolishness about $2 million that's been generated for you. And again, I still say, how long in the world have they had this situation? I'll get off my soapbox. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, Bronson Will.
Good morning.
Good morning. Bronson, I appreciate you talking about the parking deck and the hotels and that division between Edgecombe and Nash when it should just be Rocky Mount. I just want to hold all the city councils accountable. I don't want to hear no BS from the city council. I talked to all of them. They keep coming up with the same BS about the hotel and the parking deck. That got to change. If the city council meeting tonight, they need to talk about that. They take away money from Edgecombe County side and go and build these hotels and $300 million for a casino, a piece of land when it's not making no money in Nash County. Build in your own county, Edgecombe. We need jobs. All these people be coming to the event center on Saturday and Sunday. That's money leaving Edgecombe going to Nash. Where is our representation? Get off your tails and do something. I'm fed up now. You got to go out there and get it done. And the other thing I want to talk about is the dilapidated houses. I told some of the city councils they could take $2 million for Ward 1 through 4. There's a lot of you guys I went to school with that's on the street, that's homeless. Some of them military guys. Those guys took carpentry, brick mason, plumbing. We could get those guys off the street, let those guys gut the houses out, and the females. The city could hire a licensed contractor just to oversee, make sure the job is done right. Your crime rate will go down. You'll give people first-time ownership of houses. We got to do something. All the city council, everybody should be up in Raleigh at the legislatures raising hell about not doing things on the Edgecombe County side. I have so many county commissioners calling me, go on, what you going to do? You letting all this money leave Edgecombe. I can't do it by myself. We got to have the city council. They're the leaders. The city council need to listen to the people. And, one head, 5 or 6 heads or 10 heads is better than one. Listen to the people. You need to have big town meters like they doing up north, and listen to the people. Your ideas might be good, but I'm quite sure 10,000 citizens might have a better idea. Thank you, Bronson.
Thank you. I agree with the sentiments for sure. And again, if I was city manager of our city, I'll be telling my Department of Development Services or planning or whomever, whenever you get an application for the construction of a new hotel in the city limits of Rocky Mount, you be sure that comes by the manager's office, i.e. the city council, so they can make a determination on how they can incent that hotel to change their location from building in one place to another. Because until we fix some of these deliberate things that have been going on for years, we will continue to be struggling and crying for the dollars that people help generate. So, again, I ain't a city manager, I ain't no city council, but I would hope that you who are watching, who are residents, will call your city councilman and say, listen, we need to start looking at how you could help steer the development of a hotel in Edgecombe County, because I believe that if we're not going to be afforded opportunities for dollars that we help generate, we're going to go off TV real quick and I'm going to get that back. Oh, no. That Edgecombe County helps generate, then we need to do something different. And we cannot continue to do the same old thing and be scared to do things that we've never done before. And it's not about being divisive. It's about being sure that dollars is being generated in a community can be spent over the entire community. And so if that means that we've got to construct and support and subsidize hotelers to come into Edgecombe County, it probably won't take but one, because that one going to be booked. People don't look and say, well, where is this hotel? Is this going to be in Nash County or in Edgecombe County when I come? They don't look at that. When you book a hotel room, you looking at, I'm staying in the city of Rocky Mount. What's the cheapest rate for a hotel I can stay in? Bam, there it is. And hoop, there it is. I'm staying right there. They don't look at what is anywhere else. And everything will be 1.4 miles or 300 feet away from each other for whatever you're looking for when it comes to some dining and retail. Because Rocky Mount is just what it is. And so, I would hope, and city council meeting is going to be next Monday, but I would hope that there is a growing list of people throughout this community that would encourage this city council over the next couple, and we've heard them talk about it, so it's nothing new, but would encourage city council to have a direct plan that when there is talk of a new hotel coming to the city limits of Rocky Mount, that organization be immediately have a conversation with the city manager directly or whomever, the city council or whatever, to figure out what the council could do to help get them into a piece of parcel that's located across the railroad track. We must be deliberate in our economic planning and development when we see that there's no resolve from our state agency. So, at the end of the day, tear up that substitute bill, allow Rocky Mount the autonomy to do what they need to do. And that's probably the biggest fear. The biggest fear is that Rocky Mount could get those travel and tourism dollars and take those dollars and start subsidizing a hotel. And what I would say to the city of Rocky Mount is, if those dollars never come to you for the ability to grow your city completely, that you must start doing a new thing. You must start doing a new thing, and that is finding other means of revenue sources to support the development of a hotel in Edgecombe County, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and collect those occupancy taxes, because it seems like that's going to be the only linear way that you can grow a city completely. Because right now, the way bills are written, you have this one-sided growth, and that's unfair for residents of Rocky Mount. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bronson.
Good morning.
Listening to you talk this morning, a space should already be identified for a hotel to come to Rocky Mount, Edgecombe County. I think her name is Joyce. She has worked very hard, I believe, and trying to get someone to come to Rocky Mount. I can just drive around and I can identify spaces that would accommodate a hotel. And I know the officials in Rocky Mount have seen it also. And I agree with you. Our city manager, whomever he's going to be, or whomever they have put in place to be, should say, we are not going to support any other business to come to the city of Rocky Mount unless you first look at Edgecombe County side. There should be a board to work on this project. Along with the city manager, you should have the councilmen. You should also have individuals within the community who is invested in rebuilding our city. It shouldn't be a long-term, thought-out project. That's one of the things that kill us. You identify something, and then it takes you years to complete anything. So maybe we'll start listening. And as I said last week, and you just said, sometimes one person cannot move a mountain. But if we start rallying in groups, you're going to see some changes. We ain't looking for nobody to say, hey, we can have hot dogs, popcorn, and a soda in order for you to get out there. Get out there because you mean business. You don't need to be supported by foods and giveaway. So I just want people in Rocky Mount to know we got to stand together in order to get anything done. I'm working with a problem over here where I live, abandoned cars. I don't understand why we have code enforcement. When you call them, they got more yay, nay, he say, within, and therefore more than a lawyer does. But I'm going to tell you what, it's going to get done. And now, that's my mission, to get some of these abandoned cars out of this neighborhood. Because nobody knows the infestation of rodents that's in this community over here. It's bad. And it ain't just me that see it. Everybody know they over here. And the more we talk about it, nothing is being done. But that's my mission this year. Oh, yeah. Code enforcement need to close down that department, or they start abiding by what they got written in the books and stop making excuses. Cars can be abandoned even though they're covered. What kind of hell is that? I don't get it. When that man told me it was nothing they could do because the car was covered and it looked like it was operable, and I'm sitting there telling him because I know it's not, you're not going to follow through with it? Why is Kelly Cook back down there with code enforcement? Didn't he retire? I got a problem with Rock about retiring folks and bringing them back like they don't have other people within the department to take over positions. Bring some new blood in, some new thought process. Keep bringing the same old back into position. I ain't going to say too much this morning because I really don't feel good. But nevertheless, I agree with you. We need to rally and say hell to the no. This just ain't going to happen no more. Thank you.
That slogan sounds pretty good. Anyway, listen, I got to go, but I certainly appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. YouTube, Facebook Live, and etc. Thank all those who chimed in. John Jordan, good morning to you. Thank you. Felicia Williams, good morning to you as well. Says Cross 64 was designated for a new hotel in Edgecombe County. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good location or what have you. Now, just for clarity, for me, okay, when a new hoteler comes into the area, want to locate one in Ashe County, offer them or try to figure out land that Rocky Mount may have, they can swap out or whatever type situation, to send them to that a deal is one they just can't turn away from type situation. But if they say, I got to have this land, I ain't saying don't build a hotel. I ain't never saying that, okay? So I am saying that we do our due diligence in trying to get them to look at another parcel that it may just happen to be in Edgecombe County, and if we can make that work, if it calls for the city to help subsidize that for a couple of years, fine. And then because we look at you do an analysis, you look at what the revenue generation may be from that situation, being a new hotel, a new utility customer, to being a new tax-based situation, to being a occupancy tax type situation. There'll be some collection sales tax revenue if they're doing some sales, some retail sales type in there. So you start accumulating all those type of dollars that would come back to the city and try to figure out how you could subsidize something for how many ever years it would take. Hey, caller, good morning.
Hey, Bryce, I just want to say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
It is a contractor, the contractor David Hunt, that was going to build a hotel a couple of years ago in Rocky Mount. The city need to make it right with him. They owe him $220,000, and he'll build that hotel. He still have the flagship. So they need to make it right. I'm tired of asking the old people downtown, the council, to do what's right. The man will build a hotel. He spent his money. It's on the records. It's in the books. They need to do what's right. That's a black man. Why we always got to have Bunny Hill, a turnkey, to do stuff? It needs some people of color. It is black people that know how to build and have the insurance and the money to fund it. So get on the ball, City Council. I'm not going to take no for an answer. You're going to do what you need to do. We voted y'all in there. We can vote you out. So get your tail busy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
8 minutes now past 9 o'clock hour. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you so much. And again to WNCR-TV. Now, don't forget Pop's Diner open from 11 to 6 today at 132 South Church Street, downtown Rocky Mount. Got to have an auto sales. And, of course, if you're looking for affordable quality child care, Promised Land Child Care Center. And it looks like the Nash County Commissioner meeting has started, and they have introduced the new person there. So that's going on right now as well. So we'll see you next time on WNCR-TV.